Ewan McGregor, I don't want to give Piers Morgan the time of day. The cast of T2 Trainspotting on fears it wouldn't match up to the original, Piers Morgan, and how the original invented skinny jeans. They're back, they're, mostly, off the smack, and they're still choosing to live life, just not as we know it. As the much-hyped Trainspotting sequel finally arrives over 20 years after the groundbreaking original, the follow-up finds Renton, Ewan McGregor, having returned to Edinburgh from Amsterdam after the breakup of his marriage, sick boy, Jonny Lee Miller, the landlord of the worst pub in Scotland, Spud, Ewen Bremner, still struggling with addiction, and Begbie, Robert Carlyle, recently escaped from prison, with the years failing to mellow him. We spoke to the key cast about fears it wouldn't match up to the original, how the original film invented skinny jeans, why Begbie could have had a full beard, and that spat with Piers Morgan. Well, we asked the question on worrying it wouldn't match up to the original. Ewan McGregor, not by the time we read the script. I think probably it was a worry 10 years ago when every interview you did was asking if you were doing a sequel to Trainspotting, and as soon as Irvin had written porno that was a constant question for the rest of our lives. That was the worry behind it, that you wouldn't want to make a lesser sequel that would damage the reputation of the original film. He, Danny Boyle, just wouldn't want to do that, but I think none of us really worried about that as soon as we read Job Hodges' script. It's so brilliantly written, it feels absolutely right, everything felt right about it. On getting in shape for filming, Ewan McGregor, Renton's replaced his heroin addiction with an addiction to being fit, and he's working in gyms in Amsterdam, so there's a sort of preparation for that, getting in shape for this role. And also I love the fact that he was a runner. He likes to run, and there's that lovely scene with Ewen Bremner where he takes him running up Arthur's Seat, the beautiful hill in the middle of Edinburgh. I always loved running, but I certainly did a lot of running to get ready for this, and then ran even more when I got there, and Johnny's an amazing runner and inspired me to run further and for longer than I ever have before. Jonny Lee Miller, we did go for a couple of runs together, yeah, you know, but running is your private time a lot of the time at work. You can't. You've got to be very respectful about intruding on your fellow runner's private time, because otherwise there's a bit of chatting along the way. But yeah, we did. Ewan McGregor, we did a couple, it was nice. On Trainspotting inventing skinny jeans. Ewan McGregor, yeah, when I was watching the original Trainspotting film on the way over I was thinking, God, nobody was doing that then. I don't think so, so maybe I did, yeah. Ewen Bremner, Rachel Fleming, the costume designer, she designed these very unique silhouettes, these very specific looks for each of our characters, ingeniously, and at that time there was no such thing as skinny jeans for men, so she took women's jeans, ripped them apart and restitched them. She found a way to sort of like create these silhouettes. Robert Carlyle, you remember every one of these 5 guys. So there was something that immediately identified them very directly and very quickly. So for myself, when I was going into the first one, which kind of falls into the second one, was this mustache, because I can remember I had a beard, a big beard, because I don't know what I was going to do, and eventually the night before we started filming I took the beard off and the mustache was there, and I thought, let's give that a go. On people shouting Trainspotting quotes in the street. Robert Carlyle, that lassie got glassed. Ewan, for me it's sweet out of speed is just the ticket man, or my pleasure in other people's leisure. Robert Carlyle, that would be my one. On a third Trainspotting film. Robert Carlyle, I don't think it's going to be another 20 years, I think that's probably too far down the line, but there is of course Irvin Welsh's most recent book The Blade Artist, which was published last year, where you find Begbie very much alive and well living in California. He's married his art therapist from the prison, and he's become like a celeb because he does this amazing thing with his blades and sculpts and chisels celebrities' faces, which I think is the book Brad Pitt's bought, so suddenly he's this amazing guy. and on Piers Morgan. Ewan McGregor, let's not give that any time of day.